Hello, Dunbar Juniors. This is Miss Perry, and I am here to say you are about to embark on some amazing research, and you're going to use a tool that you probably have used a lot before, and that is what you see before you, Google. However, I am here as your librarian to talk to you a little bit about being more careful on Google as you conduct some searches. So, you have been given a list of topics. Hopefully, you've picked one that interests you. And we are going to talk about how to maybe research that through Google and get some more specific results. So, I came up with my topic as genetically modified organisms. And a lot of times that comes through genetically modified foods. So, I'm going to start in my Google search typing genetically modified, and you're going to see that a bunch of things pop up here. Now, if I just say genetically modified food, Google is amazing. I don't fault it at all, but I have now just received 48 million results in less than a second, basically. I see here from the Scientific American that there's something called The Truth About Genetically Modified Food that looks like it's going to be a legitimate article. I can also continue looking. I have something from the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. I have a Wikipedia entry. Okay, so now I'm getting into the territory where Google is going to sort by number of clicks. So if people click it more, aka like a Wikipedia, it's going to be higher up in your search. So just because it's up there in your search doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a trustworthy source that you want to use for an academic project. We have the non-GMO project. I think it says in the title there what side they are on with GMOs. So maybe we need to look for things called like biased language. So there's just a couple of things that you want to look for when you are conducting a search. Now, because it is Google, I have genetically modified food. But say I really want to focus in on corn. Corn is one of those things that is very much genetically modified a lot of times. So I'm gonna go with an add of the word corn, and I go from 48 million. I'm down to 7 million. That's a little bit better. But now I'm specifically looking at corn. So the other thing to look at with Google is that you sometimes want to narrow down your search using keywords. Keywords does not mean that you search your entire sentence of your topic and put it all in the Google search. We don't want that necessarily. Keywords means I have picked out keywords from my topic, genetically modified, things like corn in this case, and I am going ahead and using that in the search box. Something else you are going to want to know. If there is an exact phrase you want searched for, that is an easy thing to add in Google. It's always one of my Google searching tips. Quotations. You're going to add that search in quotations. So say I want to specifically add food and drug administration. I will keep that in quotations, and that's going to signal to Google that I need that specific phrase in my search. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I've got quite a string going on there with my search terms, just so you know. But now I'm only down to 703,000 results, which is great based off the previous 78 million I had. So now I see that I have the FDA.gov down here. I have something that mentions the FDA, whether it does or does not test GMOs. I still have got Wikipedia. So despite narrowing down your search terms, you're still going to have to look at the results that you get. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to check out on this FDA link right here. FDA is federally funded. It's the Food and Drug Administration, and so they are going to have, and in this case, it's actually pretty solid. It's the content is current as of September 28th, 2020. Information. So, am I eating foods that come from GMO crops? What GMO crops are grown? There's a PDF that I can pop out here, and I can get a lot of information here. It talks about corn specifically right here. Corn is the most commonly grown crop that's GMO. Soybean is another common one. cotton potato. So you can kind of see what the FDA has to say about that. And in this case, there's a little video that they've embedded here, and it kind of puts it in some nice headings and makes that bite size. This is the kind of source where I would be looking at this because it is a government funded source. I might be curious to know if there's any bias, but I'm not seeing any inflammatory words here. GMOs will kill you. GMO will be the downfall. I'm not seeing anything that's biased language automatically. So that's something good to know. When you are searching Google, you're going to have to look for those things because you are talking about a wide web search that you are about to conduct. You also want to avoid, so I went with the FDA here, and I used my exact phrase. You also want to avoid, besides bias, you want to avoid specific opinions. So if you are looking and you see that there is some opinion section from a newspaper, I'm going to scroll through here. Here's something from Harvard. I honestly think we've got a really good search going on right now for our GMOs. So I'm going to click on this Harvard piece. It is from August 9th of 2015. It's still pretty current. We're within 5 years. Same science, different policies regulating genetically modified foods. Again, this particular article does not have inflammatory language. However, it may have some biases. What I am noticing here, though, is that when they make a claim, I see a little footnote. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to scroll to the bottom of the page. And I'm going to see there's all kinds of different figures. This particular source has references. So they have backed up their claims from other things. What you're going to see, this is a quote from the Jungle. That's probably to catch our attention. They use the Food and Drug Administration. They use the European Commission. They use this study. They use the Library of Congress. So they're using some pretty trustworthy sources. They're not just simply citing an opinion and then not backing that up. So a couple of things. You want to avoid bias. You want to avoid simply opinion without having evidence to back up that claim. Another thing I want to show you, and I'm going to have to take out my quotes here. I'm going to do another search, and I'm going to just now do my broad genetically modified food. Google has a nice little sub-source called Google Scholar. So in this case, it brings to the very top this link that says scholarly articles for genetically modified food. These particular articles, I'm going to click that link. These particular articles are going to take me to Google Scholar, where I am going to have more relevant sources that have been peer-reviewed, sources that have other references and that back up their claims. The biggest takeaway from this is that I now am using Google Scholar, which is going to provide more trustworthy sources. So you can still use Google. You just want to be aware of biases. You want to be aware of opinions only. And then you want to be aware of how to make your searches more smart, such as by using Google Scholar or by using a specific phrase that you include in quotes. Happy researching. We miss you guys.